All right. Well, I fixed it.
Apparently, we're live now.
Now we were live before,
Well,
but
you've
we
seen
were
a lot of
it
tinkering around.
it was a lot of it was some it was a silent show. It was a silent version of the show. So now we're good. So I apologize. I'm sorry about that, guys. We're we're good now. We're good. I'm not gonna dull you with the intro again. You guys know what that looks like. We'll just jump right into that. It's Friday night. It's TNT off the rail. I'm Bud. That's Hollywood. We got a good show coming up here in about 15 minutes or so. We're going to be calling Dallas West,
the one and only.
the
Dallas
one and
West.
only Dallas West. I see. I was thinking, what did I get everything out of the way for Hollywood not to play with? Not to get you a rattle or something.
I'm always picking at something. Or
But,
doing something.
So so I apologize. We got it all straightened out now. We're good. We got this volume thing. It was a blessing in disguise because if that wouldn't have been messed up, then we called Dallas. That would have been messed up, and then I'd have been upset. So,
And I'm pretty sure Dallas might have been a little upset.
I'm sure he probably wouldn't have dug it. So make sure you're sharing this out. Get it all shared out to everybody. Let everybody know what's going on. Let's make sure we're on the right one here. Make sure I'm going to try to get this shared out. So, Nikaylee, if you're watching by any chance, I messaged you back. I don't know if you meant you wanted to talk to me right then, or if you want to call me on the show. If you want to call me on the show and talk about something, we can do it real quick, or you can give me a call when we get done with Dallas.
She's got her grudge match coming up with Amy Herman coming this Sunday.
Is it? It is this
That's
Sunday.
this
isn't
Sunday.
It?
That might be what she want to talk about. Maybe she wants to trash talk a little bit.
Ooh, that'd be kind of cool.
Cat fight.
Yeah, that'll be good. Yeah, so well, real quick, couple things. A lot of stuff is getting ready to change here in the next week in Illinois. As most of you know, Iowa lifted a lot of restrictions. Things are going on real well over there. Had a big tournament at Legends last week.
Got a lot to talk about it like that. If you want to talk about some of that tournament,
I don't know. It's like we got about 15 minutes. You think you can get a bunch of that in?
Well, we can talk. We can wait and talk to Dallas first. But before we get to any of that, I gotta make sure that I give a big shout out to all the guys that belong to the Pitch and Coop page. Financial hard times have hit here at my house. Obviously, everybody knows a little bit about that. And some of the guys are going to be pitching in, which I'm deeply grateful for. We're going to get some Ridgeback rails on this baby finally, and we're going to get the Simona Smooth cloth on there. And we got a lot of guys that are pitching in to help pay for it. Some people that have never even played here,
right?
So on and so forth. And I really do appreciate that because, realistically, right now, I mean, being diagnosed with the stage 4 cancer and everything that I've got going on, the money's dried up. I mean, I worked a lot and I did my electrical work and I always made really decent money. And needless to say, the whole health situation is really draining the pocketbook. Right. And, the pool players are pulling for me. I'm pulling for me. I want to stick around long enough to play on that Ridgeback rails and Simona's cloth.
You'll be around. There's no way you're gonna.
I hope so.
You haven't annoyed enough people yet.
Yeah. The problem is we got. We literally put that cloth on there. Maybe
it's only been a couple months.
I don't even think it's been under 2 months, and we pretty much got it wore out.
Yeah, it hasn't been very long. So I'm sharing stuff. I'm not.
No, you're fine. You're fine. And I just wanted to make sure that I big shout out to everybody because I mean, we went to the tournament there Saturday, and I went and I spent most of the night in the truck. I did win one match. I don't know how. I beat somebody. I don't even remember who I beat now, but I won a match and then I lost 2, and then I went and laid in a truck. And Jeremy Coy and the boys, they took over, and Jim Fridley took 3rd, and we'll talk about that a little bit later, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. That was a huge tournament. Josh Franklin took 1st. Kevin Judy took 2nd. Jim Fridley, strong showing for the Pitch and Coop, took 3rd for the Illinois boys over here.
Nice.
I know that. There were some other finishers up there. I know, like Mike Creighton, I think got 11 through 12th.
Yeah.
Buckshot, didn't you get 11 through 12th too?
Yep, Mike. Yeah, yep.
Yeah, and we had some other good showings out there. I know that Jeremy Coy, hadn't hit a ball in quite a long time. He won a few rounds. I think he was more worried about me laying in the back of the truck, and I think it got him a little concerned, and he was worried about getting me home. So even though, we still were there until, I'm going to guess, started driving home around midnight.
Didn't that go until the wee hours of the morning?
It probably did.
Somebody said like 7 o'clock.
Yeah. Well, Big E said Biggie said that he was going to get it done in one day. Well, they went Iron Man style. They didn't get it done in one day. That's for sure. But I mean, if
well, technically nobody left.
nobody stopped,
right? So technically, yes, it was one day. So then they got another one coming up. They got another one coming up tomorrow.
They're going to do another one
10
tomorrow.
ball.
We're going to have 10 ball. Doors open at 10 o'clock.
I have the flyer.
Sign-ups at noon. I can't tell you what the handicaps are because they do change a little bit, but I think they're going to be the same as the last time. Opens go to, or novices go to 4.
I got it right here. Hold on.
Opens go to 5. Advanced goes to 6.
I'm pretty excited about that too. Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, open to 4, advanced 5, master 6, elite 7. $1,000 add-in and the auction. Doors open at 10. Auction at noon. First 64.
Yeah, we had 57 players, which was a good showing for, just opening up, getting the doors open, and just kind of an impromptu tournament, really. I mean, and it's just like this 10-ball tournament.
Right.
I mean,
just
kind of just thrown together, Biggie, trying to catch up with some of the tournaments that we haven't gotten in. So
yeah, I think he kind of threw the line out there Wednesday.
Yeah.
Wednesday night or something, Wednesday afternoon. So if you're looking for some pool to shoot, there's going to be all kinds of fun out there at Legends tomorrow. There are actually a couple. I saw there's another one. I saw that Twisted Rose in Algonquin or is that Aurora? Oh, I'm horrible with these things.
I'm not sure which one you're talking about, bud.
Algonquin, yeah, Twisted Rose. Twisted Rose. They're having a Saturday tournament as well. If you're on the other side of the town there, if you don't want to go there, that fills up, you're gonna get a hold of guys over at Twisted Rose. They're having one starts at 3:00 Saturday. It's an 8-ball. It's $25 entry, and they're doing theirs is it's a Fargo based thing, and they actually have a couple different weekly. They have a Tuesday, I think they have a Thursday one, and the Saturday one, and they're all kinds of stuff over there.
I'm gonna have to do a little research on that one. You kind of caught me off on guard on that one. I haven't really looked into them tournaments that they have down there, but it sounds like a great time. I mean, I know that I'm really, really looking forward to going to Racks on Rocks down there. At,
for
Peoria.
That was the one I was just talking about.
And they just posted up that they're going to have the Illinois or
yeah, that cup.
Yeah, the Illinois Iowa Cup.
Yeah, that one.
And they're going to have that, and they're going to you can put teams together for that. I don't know what the stipulations are for that.
I need to talk to Josh. I want to see if we can, T hit the right there scoreboard over in between the. Yep. It should just pop up.
Yeah, it'd be nice to go down there and get some streaming in it. It looks like a really nice place. I always hear a lot of nice things about it.
From what it says, they got somebody streaming it for sure. So.
Well, they got somebody streaming. They don't need us.
But that's coming up September 25th.
We'd be happy to take a secondary table.
We'll come hang out and report on it. I'm gonna see if I can try to make it. I know that we talked about that, and I meant to say something to you about that. But if I can. He's gonna have. They can. Hopefully, they'll start letting me know a little sooner when they're doing those, so we can get out there and try to stream some of them.
Well, a lot of these places they got guys that are streaming and stuff like that. Which is
I meant for the Legends one.
Well, yeah, right.
So, but if nothing else, I'll try to.
There's another. There's another one. I mean, it was kind of impromptu.
Right. They pop up. So yeah.
So I mean, the things are a little bit different. It's not like. It's not like last year where everything's planned out.
Right. Yeah.
You see things coming months in advance, and now everybody's trying to jam everything in as quickly as they can.
We're in a different place right now, so I'm gonna send him a message too, just to make sure he knows. So real quick, we got phase 4 coming, and I'm not sure about the numbers. We kind of talking about, but I know it's going to be real limited capacity. They're doing a percentage of your capacity, and if I'm understanding it right, it's a percentage of your capacity, but it can't be more than 50 people. So if that makes any sense. So what that means for pool, I'm not 100% sure. A lot of it's going to depend on, I guess, when the nights are and how that works. I mean, realistically, you probably could do some stuff, if you know what I mean, but it's going to be one of those either or kind of things, you know what I mean?
Well, like you and I talked about earlier, and, obviously I can't speak for any of the people running the pool leagues. I can't speak for Teresa. I can't speak for Bob. I mean, they're going to obviously both of these leagues are going to clash. I know that Teresa's already said that she was going to move her league to Tuesday night this year instead of being on a Thursday night, so it wouldn't clash with the men's league, which is fine. But in all reality, Thursday night is a big. I mean, it's something Bob needs to maybe take into consideration. Thursday night is like one of the biggest. Not, it's the biggest weeknight bar night
Right.
in town,
Especially up
anyways.
here, yeah.
And I know that the Whiskey Barrel gets pretty crowded, and they have the karaoke, and they have this going on, and they have that going on, and I know like the cooler gets things going on Thursday nights, and maybe it might be a consideration where he might want to move his league to Wednesday night or Monday night or Sunday night or something of that nature, so that way, you're not in there on a busy night already.
Right.
It's just something to consider. I mean, I don't know if he'll do that or not. I mean, that's completely up to Bob. I mean, I'm just thinking that if we're going to be in a numbers crunch, I mean, it doesn't take anything for us to move our league. I don't think, in anyways. I think people are going to be pretty excited to play regardless.
Yeah, at this point, you could. Yeah, I think
you could run it on the middle of the Sunday afternoon. And
right
I think
at this
get
point,
the players
I'm thinking, yeah, the people that want to play are going to play when they're.
But
ready
I'm just saying so that the bars aren't clashing with us coming in to get our leagues. And for example, you can take the Whiskey Barrel. They got 2 tables in there, so they got you got 4, you got 8, you got 16 people right there.
Right.
Between 2 teams, and then some of the team members, they bring the wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever the case might be, and if that's going to screw up what they can do on a Thursday night on the few hours that we're there, I couldn't see any reason why you couldn't move it to Wednesday night,
right,
or Monday night when there's nothing really going on anyways. But that's just me.
And you're putting the venue owners in a tough spot, trying to making them decide,
and
who they want to.
Well, not to mention if you think about it, realistically, if they don't have a lot of business going on Tuesday or a Wednesday or a Monday night, anyways, why not have us there?
Right, right. That's exactly, and then because that's the goal. I mean, as operators and stuff, that's something that we have to keep in mind. You know what I mean? That's what keeps us going is having venues to be able to play in. So we have to do what we can do to keep them going, so we can play there. So
absolutely,
especially right now, that that's something that we have to look forward to. What's up, Jim? John, how you guys doing? Jim says you should have an all-day tournament at the Coop, and half of it pays for the table, and the other half goes to.
We could. I know that we did talk about putting a benefit on at one time, and if we ever do that, I mean, we'd have to find a play venue. I mean, I think the best place to do it would be just to go over. Well, we could have it in downtown Rock Falls and kind of run it like what Mark does with the
right.
And we could have it around at the bars right down here in town. But in all reality, I mean, to me, if you're going to put a benefit together, and I would appreciate. I mean, if you guys do, you do. If you don't, you don't. It is what it is. But it'd be nice. I mean, I'd take it over to Clinton. I mean, it's not that far for the boys to travel to.
No.
You got all the tables. You got all the thing. It's all in one spot. You could do it there. We can run raffles, all sorts of stuff over there that you can't do in Illinois.
I've definitely thought about it. So
Ah, well, that's down the road. If I've always said, if I needed it, I would say, yeah, let's do that. And the biggest thing with me right now, I'm supposed to be getting, certain benefits and stuff that are start kicking in, but because of the COVID-19, everything's backed up. I just don't have any money rolling in right now. So it's a little rough. I mean, I got friends and family that are helping out and stuff like that, and my bills are getting paid. I mean, I'm fortunate enough to be in a position where my house is paid for. Everything I got is paid for the most part. So I mean, I'm getting by, but it's getting rough.
Peanut butter and jelly is starting to be gourmet.
Yeah, the bad part about it is I'm on a diet that costs money, and I don't have the money to pay. Well, I mean, I do have the card thing that helps pay for the food,
right.
So that's always nice. That's real nice.
Gotcha.
But let's not talk about my bad times. Let's talk about pool.
So we're just in a few minutes. We're gonna be giving Mr. West a call. So don't forget, join us in the comments, wherever you're watching, YouTube or Facebook, and we will do our best to pass them along. We're going to talk to him for a few minutes at first, and then we'll spring your guys' questions on there. I've got some stuff, got my little paper here with a bunch of stuff. I got a few questions from some people already, and a big shout out to Jim Fridley, by the way, for helping us get this set up. Jim did some legwork for us and made contact and helped us set this interview up. So we really appreciate that. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Dallas is such an awesome guy. He just he was just such a I can't even think of the word for it. He's just a pioneer, and he was such and almost an ambassador. So many people looked up to him, or like just viewed him as he was such a nice guy. You know what I mean? He was always and he represented the sport very well wherever he went. He kept himself well. He presented himself well. It's going to be a ton of fun to talk to him. He had a ton of pool rooms and Loves Park, Rockford. He just he's it's going to be a fun conversation. So if you have some questions for him, make sure you put them in the comments and stuff like that. And then we'll talk to him for a while and see what's going on. We're going to take a minute real quick before we call him. We got to pay the bills real quick here. I'm going to show you this real quick. These guys help us bring these streams to you guys, and we appreciate everything they do. So make sure if you need something, you guys hook them up, give them a call. I'm going to show you a quick little commercial real quick, and then we'll come back and then we'll get to our next one and talk about them. Hang tight. Build your dreams. Call CBM Construction 815-716-6727. Offering all your construction needs from remodeling to new builds, as well as heating and cooling services and installation. If it needs done, CBM is ready to serve you with their professional service. Inside and out, Bill builds it best. Licensed, bonded, and insured, CBM Construction has you covered. Check them out on Facebook and give them a call to get your estimate today. CBM Construction. Those are our good friends, Bill and them over at CBM. Definitely give them a call. He does some really great work. I'm going to be updating that here pretty soon with some more really cool stuff that he did. And so definitely help support them as they support us and all the stuff we do, bringing you guys all this great pool and keeping them obviously super free. And our friends over here at A&A Flooring in Sterling, Illinois, Al and Angie, give them a call, 815-632-0675. All your flooring needs. They got this really cool little app. You look right there when you go to the website. There's it floats along as you scroll through there, and you can click on it, and it'll help you pick out the different kind of floorings you want by being able to take it around your house and look at different options and see how they would look in your house. It's a pretty cool little thing. I was messing around with the other day, and I was like, oh, this is going to get expensive. So A&A Flooring, Sterling, Illinois, 815-632-0675. Give Al and Angie a call right now for all your flooring needs, and they'll get you taken care of. So Mr. Hollywood had to jump out for a second. He'll be back. We're going to give Dallas a call here in just a second. And we're gonna get him a buzz here, and then we're gonna start talking with him. And Hollywood will be back in just a few minutes. So, all right, let me find this real quick and I'll give him a call. Like I said, don't forget, if you got questions, throw them up in the comment section for me, and we will pass them along. This is gonna be. Where's my button? There it is. Oh, we're live from the pigeon coop, by the way. You see in the background. In the background, you see Dustin and Buckshot they're playing, and brought him some toys they're playing with right now. So let's give Mr. Dallas a call here real quick and get this conversation underway. That was pretty loud.
Hello.
Mr. West.
Yes.
How are you doing? It's Greg from TNT. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, now I can hear you. Yeah, I was a little bit quiet there at first. And then, so how's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
Well, I'm doing just fine. Sitting relaxing.
Great night for it, too. It's like almost nice enough to get outside and enjoy the weather a little bit. Nah, it's getting there.
Well, I hope it's like it was last night. Last night it was beautiful here.
Yeah,
I don't know how it was there.
Yeah, it was actually pretty nice here last night. So I think it's supposed to rain around here a little bit. So we appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. We got some I got some stuff I want to ask you, and we've got some viewer comments and stuff like that we're gonna ask you some stuff about that. So I again appreciate you definitely taking the time to talk with us. Um,
Sure, no problem. Can you hear me good? Because I've had a few say that this
oh no, I
phone
can.
was acting up a little bit. Okay,
I got you great. Um,
okay.
so my first question for you is what drew you into the sport? What was it that made you just have to get a pool cue in your hand and start shooting?
Well, you know, I didn't plan on it, that's for sure. I was walking to school, and I would go by this room all the time, this billiard room. Of course, in those days they called them pool halls. So then I probably for 4 or 5 months, and then when summer came, you walked by there, you could smell the powder. You know, everybody used Johnson and Johnson's baby powder in those days. They would use it on the shaft of their cue, so it really smelled good, you know. So that kind of drew me to it because you had a screen door on the billiard room in the summertime, and I could smell that walking by, so I got curious and I went up and started looking in the window. That's how it started.
And I won't ask how long ago that was because it was probably just a few years, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So
Yeah. So it was like love at first sight. I mean, I didn't know it, meaning I didn't know the meaning of that, but
right.
it sure fascinated
Do
the
you,
daylights out of me.
do you remember what was the first thing you did on a table? Did you jump right in and play a game right the first time you got to a table? And if you did, what was it? What did you play?
Oh, I played. Everybody in those days played 8 ball, and they had a different kind of 8 ball that they played compared to what they play today. Today they just play call the eight. Well, in those days we played because it was nickel a cue. We played what they called misery eight, and the reason why they called it misery eight is that when you rack the balls behind the 8 ball, you put a 1 on one side of the eight and a 15 on the other. So whatever which when you made a ball and you were entitled to a shoot again after the break, the the side that you or the ball that you made was allocated like the 1 ball was allocated to one side, and the 15 was allocated to be made in the other side. And whichever one you took, you had to make that. That's what they called it, misery. You had to make that ball in that side.
Huh.
Now think about that. That's
Yeah.
very, very tough to do. And
I'm
when you might nurse the ball up near your side, and your opponent might figure out a way to hit his ball into it and knock it away for that pocket.
yeah, I'm trying to picture that in my head and I'm like, "Whoa, that's crazy." So
Yeah, that's why it was called Misery 8. And the reason why they played it that way was because nickel a cue, they could get a lot of mileage out of their dime for that game.
I bet. I bet. So
So,
I, I've read so much about you over time. I've you know I briefly years and years and years ago. I want to say it was right after you got State Madison. I think I may have bumped into you one night shooting there, and I remember you kind of wandering around talking to everybody and showing people shots and stuff like that. How through everything that you've done and from going by and catching that whiff and falling in love with the game and starting off playing that A ball, how long was it before you found straight pool when you started taking that up? Because I know you've played a lot. You played 8 ball, 9 ball, and you've won titles and tournaments and all those. But you were a top notch straight pool shooter. How long was it before you found straight pool, and how did you find it?
well, I found it because I wasn't allowed to play in the pool rooms those days, the big ones. In fact, the one I was playing in, I shouldn't have been playing in because there was a little Italian guy that owned it. And I would come in the door and he would kick me out. And he'd done that to me about 20 times, and he finally got tired of doing it. And he said, "Okay, kid, you can stay in there, but you cannot play. Don't bother nobody." So I had to get that in. I had to tell you that. So then finally, when I went downtown, by the time by the time I was 13, I walked into the big room, State and Madison, and they wouldn't let me play because you had to be 17 to play. So that's how I got introduced. That was the year and the age that I got used to hearing all about straight pool. I thought it was kind of a easy game,
Mm-hmm.
because you could shoot any ball. But then I found out that it's the granddaddy game of them all.
And just because you could shoot anyone didn't mean anyone was good to shoot, huh?
That's right. You
So,
had to play. You played straight pool like playing checkers.
mm, so was that I read a story about a tournament that you played in one of your, I think maybe it was it one of your first tournaments. Was it that you said something about the State Madison and not being old enough to get? Was that the one where you kind of had to fudge your way in and they finally let you play in it, even though you weren't old enough?
No, I played in a lot of tournaments, but I didn't play in them until I was probably, well, I probably started playing them when I was 17 because I played 9 ball pretty fair and I played 8 ball pretty fair. I could hold my own with anybody. And I was only, well, like I said, I was 17 then, but I could do that when I was 14. And that's what I was, in fact, my wife's husband, I have to bring that in there. I mean, my wife's father uh, said, "What are you doing playing? What are you doing going out with that old guy?" Because, in other words, I started playing when I was 12, and by the time I was 14, 15, everybody in Rockford knew me as far as a little guy that liked to play.
So, how long did it take you to win your first win? Do you remember? Do you remember the first tournament you
Oh,
won? The
that
first.
first year when I was 17, I started winning some 9 ball tournaments because I didn't get to play in the straight pool until probably, I want to say 6 months after I was 17. And I probably won 2 or 3 9 ball tournaments during that period. But a gentleman on the side who was third in the world tournament 2 or 3 times, Joe Jackson Deal was his name.
Mm.
And he taught any top players that come out of Rockford, like Bernie Peterson and Charlie Ketchapaglia was another one. And they would kid him on the side or talk to him and say, "Well, why don't you teach Dallas to play? Do you think you could teach him to play straight pool?" He said, "I don't think he likes it." "Or do you think he could play it good enough to play?" He says, "Well, then I'll tell you this." He says, "He sure can handle that cue ball. He puts it wherever he wants it. So if he was to learn how to play straight pool, he might not miss very much."
Well, and he was obviously right because you put you over your life you put together quite a few big runs. When was the first in straight pool when you started playing? When was and what was your first real big run at the table?
Oh, I think 3 years after when I was playing Joe, we used to practice 3 times a week, 5 hours each time. And when we used to practice, I was started right out running 40s and 50s once in a while, but Joe was running hundreds. So that was the first year. Then the second year, I started running 70s and 80s, and Joe was still running hundreds. And then the third year, I started running hundreds, and Joe quit me. He said, "Okay, kid." He says, "You learned what I could teach you." He says, "Now I'm too old to start racking balls for you, so I'm gonna have to get another student."
Well,
That's the way it went down.
that must have made you feel pretty good.
Oh
So
man, yes, the man that his caliber, he's one of the greatest players that ever played.
so what was the first real, I guess, big tournament where like I guess where was the first tournament you played in that had some names that you looked at when you first started shooting, like the bigger names in the sport? What was the first tournament you remember playing with some of those guys in it?
Well, actually, in those days we had quite a stable of players in Rockford. So there was always a rivalry going on. There was 2 or 3 guys that played close to me, but they were nuts down. And what we did is I figured they've always told me you should go out and play in this tournament, you should play in that tournament. I said, well, first of all, you have to learn how to get out of your town. I says, if I can win that city championship, then I know I can just go out and play in national or, regionals and nationals and stuff like that. Because we had some really, really good players. First year I lost, and I finished second when I was 20. And then when I was 21, they had another tournament here in the city. There's 20 players in it. Most of them were from the city. And the second year I won. I beat the same guy that beat me the year before. So then I won it out, and I started playing it all over the area in Milwaukee and Madison and Chicago. I won a lot of tournaments in Chicago. And I did pretty well here in Rockford. We had the Midwest Open, and I won 5 out of 12 of those.
Wow. So, what was your first out of state tournament?
Well, I played in Wisconsin. That's out of state. I played in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
And I won the Milwaukee tournament. And I played in so many tournaments. My recollection is you're asking me to really get deep. I probably won 250 tournaments or better.
Wow.
Well, so that's kind of, because I loved it so much. I played 7 days a week, 10 hours a day, for 10 years, just to play each year to get ready for the U.S. Open. And before that, I would play every day. I always played every day for 10 hours a day. And most people I talk to say, you got to be crazy. I never heard of anybody playing 10 hours a day. So it's got to be love to do that,
Yeah, you definitely had to love it. Well, my buddy here, Hollywood's just rejoined us. He had to step away, and he has said he's got a couple questions for you.
Well,
sure.
I do. How you doing today, Mr. West?
Pretty good, sir. How are you?
Oh, I'm hanging in there. I guess my biggest question is who was your biggest nemesis on the pool table? I mean, who did you just hate to play or love to play because you just love beating a guy?
Well, actually, this one's going to throw you. I used to play it very good with him, and I would watch him play other people, and he didn't play as good as what he would do to me when I had him in bad spots. And that was Joe Bolsis from Minersville, Pennsylvania. You ever hear of him?
Yep, I sure have. He's out of Illinois, correct?
Oh yeah, he was from Minersville, Pennsylvania. Yeah.
Oh, Pennsylvania. For some reason, I was thinking I thought he was from Illinois, but maybe I'm mistaken the name with somebody else. But did you ever get to play against any of the? Did you ever play like Mizrak or Minnesota Fats or any of them kind of guys?
Well, Steve and I used to kind of chum around a little bit after we played in a few tournaments. Steve beat me about four different times in 4 different U.S. Opens, and I used to tell him that he was lucky because if you know pool, what I mean by lucky, I'll give you a little synopsis. If you know pool, when you break the balls playing straight pool and your cue ball is on the same side of the table as your break ball that you made is, and there's no balls on your side of the table you can make, and you can shoot your all in balls and make a ball in the corner pocket. That's about 100 to 1.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
And he'd done that to me 4 or 5 times and beat me, and I told him, I said, you can't keep doing that. And finally I started getting him, and I beat him, I think, the last 4, 5, 6 times we played.
Now,
in fact, I finally beat him out of a U.S. Open.
Now, I know that was it Mizrak? Yeah, it was Mizrak that had the record at 420.
Oh, you're talking about high run?
Yeah, the high run. He had a high run of what, 526, correct?
No, he never run as high as I ran. But the guy you're talking about is Willie Mosconi.
Oh, Mosconi. I'm sorry, I'm getting the two mixed up. And then
and Mosconi did it in exhibition. you can't do that in the tournament because you only play 150 points.
Correct. I know now because we're coming to you live here from the Pigeon Coop, which is what we call it. And I had John Schmidt in here.
Oh,
Probably.
he can play. He can really play.
Oh boy, Kenny. I had him. He stopped at the garage here. Well, it's my garage, I should say. We just got a pool table in it. It looks like a pool hall, but it's just a mini. It's a mini pool hall. but but I had John Schmidt in here, and this was before that he broke the record. Now, I know there's been a lot of people have their questions on, could that record be broken? Could it not be broken? I mean, I know Mosconi did it on an 8-footer. John did it on a 9-footer. I don't know what the difference is. I don't know if it's harder, if it's easier. What's your take on that?
It's actually harder to do in the 4x8, and the reason why it's harder to do is because it's easier to for the balls to get more congested.
Sure.
But now it's very, very hard to do in a 4.5 by 9. I'm not taking that away at all. And a 5 by 10 is tougher yet. The bigger the table, the tougher it is. There's nobody that I never knew of that ever run 500 balls on a 5 by 10.
No, I don't, and I don't think that you ever see that. But so that kind of leads me into my next question because, that record from Mosconi, it stood for a very long time, and John Schmidt come up and he beat it by 100 balls. He ran 626. So I guess my question to you is, do you believe, like, if somebody reached deep in their pockets and put $100,000 up and said, I'll give you guys 1 week for somebody to break that record, do you think it would fall?
No, I don't think it would. I think it's possible, but I wouldn't think it would because you have to have an extraordinary amount of practice in. You have to have an extraordinary amount of you got to have some rolls in that, and because I've run over 400 twice myself, and I ran a 420 and a 406, and I wrote the 420 was on a ball return, and the 406 was on a pocket mile where you got to pick them out of the pockets.
Yeah, that's a lot of walking around.
Yeah, and I did them both. The 420 was in an hour and 45 minutes,
Wow.
and the 406 I did in an hour and a half exactly.
So you're saying that pull stick that you used was part machine gun?
Yeah, I moved when I played because, but I if you really know the game of straight pool, when I say I moved, and is that you pick the ball. It's how you pick the balls though that determines your speed and your time. If you pick them off poorly, you're traveling the cue ball all over the table, and you're running all over the table.
Correct.
But if you pick them good, you might. I've had a lot of racks that I would shoot in 12, 13 of the balls, if not the whole rack, and never go to the rail.
Right.
And that's very, very rare to do.
That would be a very tough thing to do.
So anyway, I'm just telling you how it was. It's just that way no more.
The game's definitely changed. That leads me to a question. Do you keep up with the game still? I mean, I'm sure you're probably not playing much.
No, I don't play at all. I do not. I'll be lucky if I play once every 2 weeks.
Well, but you
and it's pretty hard to stop doing something that I did to get to this element because I don't see as good. So I was so spoiled playing all my life.
Right.
I'm not going to put up with missing balls right in the hole. That's for the beginners.
I hear you there. I hear you there.
I wish I had that kind of an excuse, but so then the other part of that. So do you keep up with the game? Like do you know of the players, like up and coming players and the players?
Who John Schmidt is?
Yeah, well, you know who John is. But I mean, but do you keep up with the guys in the game now? Do you watch any pool or read about any?
Well, I got some pretty good students, that come to me for 35, 40 years ago. And I wasn't in the teaching big time, but I would take on a few that really loved it and wanted to get involved. And like Tom Karabasos from Chicago is a very, very good player.
Oh, yeah.
And you got a lot of there's a lot of guys in the Midwest that I've had a touch with that I won't mention that's really, really good players. What about Mike Bandy? Mike Bandy's a heck of a player.
I can't
And
say
I don't
that.
even know if you know him.
Yeah, I
from
can't say that I
Joliet.
know. Yeah, I don't know of any
Joliet.
of them names, but we are from the Sterling Rock Falls area. I don't know if he told you about that. We got some pretty good players that run through this area too. Maybe I run a couple names by you. Maybe you know them. Maybe you don't. Guy by the we had Mac Dugan, and we had my uncle James Lefevre, Jimmy Lefevre. He had the pool.
Oh, I know Jimmy well. He used to play in my room every week.
Yeah, that's my uncle.
I'll be darned.
Yeah, and a real good pool player from around the area that everybody really knew. His name was Wayne, right?
Oh, I knew Wayne too. Played him many times.
Yeah, he heck of a player. Heck of a player.
I loved him. Do you remember? I don't know how old you are. Do you remember the Miami Hotel in Sterling?
Yes, I sure do. I sure do.
That was
I'm just going to be turning 50 here shortly, so I mean that's a little before my time.
Oh,
but I'm not. I'm familiar with it all.
I love that place. That was one of my stops. I used to make my stops. I would go to Chicago and play, and then out of Chicago I'd go along the lake and I would play at Kenosha, and then I would play at Racine,
Yeah.
and I would play at Milwaukee, and then I would cross over to Madison, College Town. Loved to play. You know, nice rooms in College Town. Played there, and then I come around and I come to Sterling, and Mizrak and I both used to play there, but
Oh
we
yeah.
didn't play at the same time.
I
He
got
started,
you. But they had
yeah.
they had the Miami room, and then across the river here in Rock Falls, they used to have a place called the Top Hat too.
Is that the pizza place?
Well, you know what? I don't remember if it was a bar restaurant type thing. I think.
Yeah,
That,
because Wayne got in the pizza places.
yeah, that was Angelo's. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
Angelo's.
yeah.
Yeah, he passed away sadly just a few years ago, and you
Oh,
know,
I didn't know that.
yeah, yep, he you know, just had some health issues, and one day he was here, and the next day he wasn't. That's just how it goes sometimes, I guess.
I think he was older than me. How old? You don't remember how
Oh,
old he is?
Wayne would be well today. I mean, he would be yeah, I'd say he'd be around 80, 82 maybe, something of that
Yeah,
nature.
I'll be 79. So he had me by 2 or 3 years. I'll be darned.
Yeah, yeah, he was a real heck of a good player. I remember when I first started coming down to Leisure Time, and he'd talk about you guys coming around and playing and stuff like that, and I just didn't know if you'd remember him or not.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah. That was a good area down there. I liked it.
yeah, we had some decent pool players out of our area, I could say.
Yep, yep.
Maybe not quite to your caliber, but still nonetheless
Well,
pretty good players.
oh yeah, we got them all over. They just that's why and the ones that really want to get better, they hound you for lessons. I mean, they don't just ask you for them; they hound you for them. I just give a young man who finished 7th in the world tournament in New York. He wouldn't let me go. He ran into me at Dave Cole's, and he kind of made me feel good. He says, I got to get a lesson from you. I said, no, I don't do them anymore. And he followed me to Star. He says, I got to get a lesson. He said, there's none of you guys around left anymore. You're last of the Mohegans.
Right. Well, you know, hey, you gotta take a
Well,
lesson when you get it, even if you gotta beg the guy for it.
well, and you
Yeah.
know,
No,
you
I mean, he was a sweetheart. He was a good guy. He is a good guy. I think he's going to want to do some more. So,
I might have to come get a lesson too. Maybe you're gonna have to open up shop.
yeah, I might have to do that. You never
we'll
know.
book a day for you here at the Pigeon Coop and come down and show everybody what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you were so many people knew you and respected you throughout your career and everything. Because you were a great ambassador for the sport. You presented yourself so well. You did. I mean, you shot amazing pool. You played in every single U.S. Open.
Everyone, yeah.
Every single one.
That's the baby I love. That was my baby.
And you, I mean, some of the things you accomplished were just amazing. They were just it's yeah, you look at it on paper and you go, how did a guy do that? You know, you're playing when you played John and broke 11 times without scratching, making a ball on everyone to beat him 11-1. I mean, it's
It's called practice, baby.
I mean, well, like he said, you were playing every day, every day of the week, and that's to me that's just I don't know. I wish I had the time. I really do. It's it's awesome to know that our sport has somebody like you and has the stories, and we're able to talk to you and get these stories. I think it's awesome. We've got
You're kind. You know, there's one thing about pool players. I always thought a lot of pool players, even though I treated them kind of rough on the table. The idea is to win, right?
well, that's yeah,
But
that's what
I
you're
but
supposed to
I
do.
but I cared for pool, and I cared for people that play the game, and I know the problems that they go through when they play it. It's tough, but it's the best game in the world. So I
Well,
would say to all the pool players out there, guys, just hang in there and get your sticks, get them sticks, get them right, get them clean. You'll play better if it slides through your fingers.
oh, absolutely. That's good advice. So I do have a couple questions from some of our viewers. They're chiming in our comment section and they're asking some questions. Um, uh, One of the gentlemen, actually the gentleman, I think he was talking to Shirley and helped get this set up that we could get a hold of you. Jim Fridley. He uh he
Oh yeah.
Jim spent a lot of time playing with you, and where did it go? He was asking about what you wanted. He wanted to know what you were shooting with, what cue you used to shoot with John, I think it was.
Oh, I tried. I played with so many, and I had two of my top cues. They walked out the door with them. I had one for Sean. It was beautiful too. Cue. I won 4 or 5 tournaments with that one, and then I had one with Viking. And they all, in those days, they wanted to make you a cue. They wouldn't charge you because you were a player. They wanted to get their name out there.
Right.
Absolutely.
So, and I got treated good by the industry. I have no complaints.
Well, I'd hope they took care of you. Like I said, you've done some amazing things and took care of this sport. Um, Another one of our viewers, John Bresley, is asking, out of all the cues you played with, what was your absolute favorite?
I think I can say one because, like I told you, that Sean hit awful nice, but the Sailor cue. Sailor and I had I used to go to Racine, and he made cues. I don't know if you're familiar with. They called him Sailor, but his name was Frank Stillman,
Hmm.
and he was a very, very good player. But when you get to making cues, he used to always talk about his hands being like boxing gloves. Well, they do get like that when you're fooling around working on cues,
Right.
and it's a game you have to to beat the big boys. You'll beat guys, but not the big guys.
I had another one. Oh, there's uh, another one of our guys, and he does a lot for pool too. He does kind of some of the stuff we do, streaming pool and bringing pool players together. Eric Naretto, he asked, he wanted to know what were if you had to tell someone what three things that you did to get yourself into the position where you are, or where you were in your career to to be as good as you were, to be in every US Open, to be, win as many titles as you did. What are three things that a person would have to focus on to do that?
Well, number one, you have to play a lot. You have to, like Ms. Rex said in his beer commercial, practice, practice, practice. That's number one. Number two, you don't show any backing off about playing with people. And what I mean by that, these guys today, even then they would walk into a room and they'd hem all around and look to see who fit their game. I didn't do that. And I'm not speaking 2 words for myself because I would rather see anybody do that. Not to be foolish, but when somebody wants to play them. you know.
Right.
If they want to bet something, I'm not a gambling advocate, but I never backed off because to me it was a sign of weakness. Because in the other guy's eyes, you know what I mean? He thought, oh, I got you now. If I can play you for 50 cents rather than a quarter, but you won't play me. You're scared you might play me for a quarter. I got this guy. He can't win. You know, now that's some mental stuff there. I'm telling you there.
Right.
But you know what I'm talking about. A lot of
Right.
people don't know that. How many times do you walk in and ask somebody to play? Well, I can't play. Everybody says they can't play. You know, you only hear that kind of terminology with pool players. You don't hear a bowler say, "You want to bowl?" Well, I can't bowl. You don't hear a golfer say, "Well, I can't golf." He might say, "Well, I don't play quite as good. You know, I haven't been playing long." But pool players just flat say, "Well, I can't play. I can't beat anybody." You
So,
know?
so you like they say, you have to play people better than you to make yourself any better. If you always
Absolutely. And I've learned things from guys that didn't know how to play. When I was a kid, that's how I learned how to be a good player, was I would watch guys that couldn't play good, but knew a little something, but they thought they were really good. They would put the wrong English on the ball when they shoot a ball and how it would react when it hit to the rail. And then I thought, and then they would say there's something wrong with the rails. And then they would walk away, and then I would say to myself, it does seem he's skewing on that side. It seems like it should go down there. So when they was gone, I picked the ball up, nobody in there, and I would put the same shot, shoot the same shot with the same English, and it would come back and hit the rail and go thud. Wouldn't do nothing. Wouldn't go nowhere. So I looked at it like you would look at a blueprint. Sometimes you got to look at things upside down and in reverse.
That makes sense.
So that's what I did. I went around the other side of the table and hit it with the same English, the same side of the ball that he was doing it on this side, and it worked on the other side. It's because he was using the wrong English. See what I mean?
Well, yeah. See, yeah, and yeah, like that. That's something I
like he's drawn the cue ball to the rail,
right,
and he wants to go to the right. So he's hitting it with a low right-hand ball. When it hits the rail, it dies. But if he shoots it with low left-hand ball when it hits the rail, it just spins down there nice. And when that happened to me when I was about 12 and a half, it was just like Moses opening the water, parting the water. I says, I got these guys. Nobody in this room is going to beat me.
And it's that's something that I've always kind of thought is if you have to be able to learn something from everything you see, like you said, even the wrong things, or and sometimes you'll learn a lot from somebody who doesn't even realize they're teaching you something.
Yeah, and because he thought he was doing it right.
Right.
And as long as who am I? I'm just a kid. He was like 20 years old. So I thought, well, by golly, he knows better than me. I'll try it. And I tried it. No wonder why he was having problems. I wasn't going to tell him either. I was going to play him and win a few pops.
Well, the way you ended up shooting, I'm sure you there was no shortage of pops in your life. So
I'm sure.
Yeah.
So I have another question. John Bresley, he asked one earlier, but he asked if you remember playing a gentleman named John Swanson, A.K. Farmer, in the early '80s, and giving your Muti-Q to him.
Are you talking Farmer?
Yeah.
I know Farmer. Yeah, he was from, wait a minute now, he's up past Kirkland, Genoa area, I think. Or
back then, I'm not sure. He's in Rochelle now.
Yeah, Rochelle, okay, he plays in the leagues down there. He's been doing it for years.
And he's still doing it. Still can't beat the guy.
Oh, he's tough.
He's a tough player.
I call him a sleeper.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to be flashy. He just wants to win.
Yep. And he does it well. He does it very well.
Yeah, he's a good guy. I like John.
Yeah. Did you have a question, Buckshot? You wandered over here. Our buddy Buckshot just came through. He's one of the guys that hangs out here at the Pigeon Coop quite often. He's what they call a key holder, and he wandered over and grabbed the microphone. You got a
Well, no. I was just stepping in a little bit. Larry wasn't feeling too good. He went to the house, and I wanted to be able to hear this instead of the pool balls banging in the background. So I grabbed the headset.
So you said you're still kind of shooting a little bit, not obviously not nearly as much as you'd like to be, but when was the last time you shot most recently?
Oh, I'll hit them once a week when the rooms are open, but don't forget they've been closed for 3 months.
Yeah, that's been rough. Where everybody's kind of we're at the bottom of the chain here in Illinois, waiting to be able to get back to do it. We've been having to run across the river the past couple weeks to play, and it's been getting rough. So we're living at the Pigeon Coop here. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any pool
And you don't have to wear the mask, right?
That's right.
yeah.
I
So-
know you guys ain't playing pool running around wearing masks.
No, across the river they were a little over in Iowa. They were a little less. They were a little less strict about things like that. So it was a little easier to do it.
Well, where was you at? Was you at Burlington or?
No,
you-
we go over to Clinton right now to
Oh yeah,
like
yeah.
they've been holding tournaments at Legends and
Yeah.
and let's see, Second Avenue's been playing a little bit over there.
Yeah.
And there actually is one here in Illinois that's starting to try to get it. They found a little loophole where they're doing a couple of their smaller tournaments right now over in Algonquin. So it's slowly starting to creep back up there. Hopefully pretty soon. So many leagues got so messed up and people are just chomping at the bit and they're hoping to get back real
Well,
soon. So
there's so many pool players out there that are trying to get back to the table. They're dying to do anything they can just to be able to play again. And I
Well,
don't
I'll
blame
tell
them.
you, Greg, the one thing I like to profess, because it's a dirty, rotten shame, that pool is the best, most economical game that you can play.
yeah.
I mean, I played all the games. I bowled, I was golf, and stuff like that. And in pool, with the fantastic thing about pool, you can play it till you're 100. You know,
Right.
if you live that long, because you're inside. If you feel faint, you can sit in a chair. When you're out in the golf course and it's 80 out there, I don't care if you got a golf cart. You have a spell, you're in problem. You got problems.
Yeah.
So I want the pool players to spend their money playing pool. Don't be playing golf and don't be bowling.
I hope Welker heard that.
Yeah. Well, Welker
So,
don't golf anymore.
Yeah.
I would like to tell every proprietor in America, I'm for you guys. I love you guys.
That's
Keep them
aw-
playing.
That's
great.
awesome. So I don't have a lot of other questions. I don't want to keep you too long, but I'm actually from Rockford. Like I said, I ran into you once at State Madison, but I also, and it was quite a bit. Well, not. I was pretty young at the time, but you used to have a hall in Loves Park over on North 2nd Street, and then
Oh yeah, that was a good one too.
yeah, and then you had State Madison. Didn't you own one or two other ones as well at one point?
Yeah, you're not going to make a lot of money in the billiard business. The only ones that make money in the billiard business are the ones that sell all the schmut, the booze, and I like the kids, and because that's how I learned when I was a kid, and I drank and I smoked and all that jazz,
Right.
But that don't mean that we have to think that it's right, But we do it, and then we wise up someday and we get rid of it. So that's the name of the game.
I don't know a whole lot of pool players that go out and go to tournament. Well, they'll go to tournaments, but to go out to play a league setting or something like that, or go out with a bunch of their friends. Of course they're gonna have their beers. They're gonna kick back. They're gonna relax. They're gonna cut loose a little bit. But
Yeah. Oh, there's nothing. I'm not saying anything that's wrong with it. I'm just saying that that alcohol, what man's done in society is he's tortured all the sports and everything.
yeah,
Because
Right,
he's got all the kids. Even on the golf courses now. They all got whiskey licenses, beer licenses.
oh yeah,
They all got it.
And
They didn't have that when I used to play back
it's,
in the 60s and 70s out there. I like to walk out there, and I did it for exercise. That's one of my exercises for pool, was to walk 18 holes, Not ride. I didn't like riding. I like walking.
and and just kind of thinking about you have to wonder if that situation with what you're talking, with with all the alcohol and stuff like that. You got to wonder if that's what's put the major decline in the younger crowd. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
they're so hard now for kids to get out and play anywhere.
you're right.
It's
That's why they loved our place out in the park. The parents would actually bring their kids to us. It took us a while before Shirley and I looked at each other and we said, "What's going on here? These parents are bringing their kids for us to babysit."
Yeah.
So what it was, they knew we didn't have any alcohol.
yeah.
Our rules were good. We was you know what I mean. We was a little stiff on don't bang the tables and stuff like
Right.
that.
Well, that's rightfully
Well,
so.
just a little
Kind
respect.
of watch
There's-
your
yeah.
language a little bit.
You're
Be
right.
respectful of people. You know, we tried to elevate a little bit from that point. And by golly, we had a pretty good business. We had a lot of young people come out of there and leave there. It turned out pretty good.
Yeah, I like I said, I was pretty young, so I never actually got to get to that. And I mean, I do remember going, I think, because wasn't that was, you had that, I'm trying to remember what year that was. I know I was super young. I mean, God, because wasn't that maybe early 80s, late 70s?
Yeah, I had after I won the Open in '75,
Right.
I opened up that room.
And you were, how long was that one there? I forget, the one in Loves Park.
I was there from '75 to '82.
Okay.
7 years.
Yeah, because like I said,
And I wouldn't have gotten rid of it. But they sold the building out from under me. So.
yeah,
Oh.
they were weird at that end of town because it ended up being was the no, I think because it either went up right by there or might have already been the old Clayton House or whatever was.
Yeah,
So I
that's the area.
I very, very vaguely remember the building, but because like I said, I was only 8 or 9 years old at the time, so
I was right across the street from Finnegan's Cottage.
yep. So,
Yeah.
well, I really
I hear the balls.
yeah,
I hear
they're-
them clicking back
yeah,
there.
They're playing.
They're playing. Yeah,
The-
we do our show right from the Pigeon Coop, and we set up just ahead of the table, and they play in the background while we're doing the show. So, we try to we go out of our way to facilitate as much pool as we can. Like we try to stream as many matches as we can for people, and we try to create all kinds of stuff. And TNT does a lot of things with tournaments, and we're trying our best to bring the juniors back and things like that.
I like the handle for you guys' club, Pigeon Coop. That's
Hey,
cool.
everybody's a pigeon comes out of
yeah,
here.
they even got some pretty cool little shirts and stuff. It's quite and it's a good family. It's a good group of guys here. A lot of the guys
Yeah.
they hang out
Sounds
and,
like it.
and they spend a lot of time shooting and like you said earlier, they learn a lot from each other even when they're not trying to teach them. So
Well,
There you go.
it's not
There
always
you go.
it's not always the best shots
You-
in the world you learn, but it's the how to play the safeties that you learn from some of these guys.
Now, tell the group what they want to do to have some fun. Do they ever play four-handed rotation?
Forehand rotation.
kind
No.
of it's kind of
Like
I
a
think
ring
it's
game?
kind of like a ring game, right?
Yeah, but the way you play it partners, but you don't choose your partner before you play.
Oh, God, it's like a
Oh.
blind draw.
Yeah.
Well, that
No, what happens is the guy that makes the 1 and the guy that makes the 10 are partners.
Oh.
See, then you have to change orders when you become partners. Let's say I broke the balls and made a couple on the break and I ran them down to the 9 and missed. Well, I got the 1 and I got those balls in between. When you stepped up and you made the 10, 11, and 12 or something, well, as soon as you made the 10, we were partners. But let's say you stopped at the 12. Now, if it got around to, and you were following me, okay, but on your turn, but if it got around to where I had to shoot again, then you didn't shoot. You lost your position because you're my partner.
Oh.
Once you become partners, you can't follow each other.
See, this is why you were amazing at this game, because everything you guys played made you think so much. You had to be good.
Oh, you had a lot of fun there, though. You learned how
Oh,
to kick
yeah.
at a ball.
I bet. I was to say that you probably learned a lot of like Bucks. I was saying you probably learned a lot of defensive play. Now that's a question that I have. In your day, Was there a lot of, I guess, I don't know if they called, was there a lot of safety play or a lot of defensive play, or
Well-
were people a lot more aggressive in the earlier days of pool? I suppose in straight
Well,
pool it's a little different, but
No, they were aggressive, especially if they had some skin in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the way I'll say it. They were. You would get the safeties, and you would get the tough breaking and all that stuff if there was skin in the game. Otherwise, you're just having a good time. But I recommend highly rotation and 9-ball for the sake of not call shot either. Slop. Now that's going to throw you.
yeah.
Play slop. Play slop. Play the kick and hit them balls. Learn how to hit a ball.
Well,
They never learn how to hit balls. They're playing hide no seek today, and when you give them a shot on one railer, they can't even hit the ball.
Yeah, yes, that makes sense. Yeah,
now,
you have to put yourself in a spot to learn how to do it.
Oh, sure.
And you'll have a ball. You'll have a lot of fun. Slap. Why you dirty rat? You slopped it in on me. Yeah, well, you could have slopped it in on me too.
We're gonna have to come and get you and bring you to the coop. I think you'd be a lot of fun in this place with these guys.
Now, Dallas, real quick though. Back when you guys did gamble quite a bit, all over the pool halls and whatnot, it was a lot of it was 2-shot shootout, was it not?
Yes, but it was two fouls in a row by period. It wasn't just 2 fouls by the same guy. The same
it was
guy
in a
could
row.
wind up. Yeah. In other words, if I rolled out, I was hooked, and I rolled out on the 2-ball,
Mm-hmm.
and you looked at it and you didn't like it, you could tell me, I'm on the first foul. You could tell me to shoot it.
Mm-hmm.
And let's say that I shot it and I scratched. Well, then that's 2 fouls in a row. You get the ball. But now here's the other rub. I roll out on the 2, and you accept the shot. When you accept the shot, you're accepting my foul.
Oh,
So now if you foul, I get ball in it.
oh boy.
Huh.
So by
That
you
was wonderful. That was wonderful because what you do is you learn to roll out on things that you practice that you can make.
Yeah. That right there, I was just thinking, when Larry was on the mic, he was talking about Wainwright, and Wayne had passed. I spent a lot of time playing against Wainwright and Tom Weidel and Mac Dugan in the area. And
Tom Weidel, I remember him too, yeah.
those are the Tom Weidel. I used to skip school every day about 11 o'clock and meet him at the pool room. I'd carry in his
School, what was that?
Oh wow, that's a long time ago. But I would carry in his oxygen tank
We
for him
went to
because
pool school, didn't we?
yeah, that's for sure. But by then, Tom Weidel was on O2, so I would carry in his oxygen tank for him, and it was the best $40 a day that I ever lost. I played him $2 a
Yeah.
game, and that's how I learned how to play pool.
There you go.
I mean,
There you go.
You learn so much by getting beat or winning. It doesn't matter if you didn't.
Oh,
Learn,
absolutely.
Tom Weidel's favorite saying was, "If you didn't learn anything by playing me today, we're never playing again."
Oh, is that right?
And I was there the next day at 11 o'clock to carry down his oxygen tank to play him again. It was
Yeah, but
amazing.
he was pretty foxy. He knew you wasn't going to admit it.
No.
He knew if you admitted it, there went his action.
Yeah. Well, young, dumb, and bullheaded. I was 14,
No,
15
smart.
years old.
You were smart.
Well, I was wanting to learn, and he was the man
Yeah.
to teach me. But he wasn't going to
Yeah.
teach me just for sakes of getting down there and playing pool. There had to be
Yeah.
something. And before the day was done, he bought us both a burger and a soda, and we sat down and we spent the $40 that I lost to him. So I bought his lunch for teaching.
There you go. That's class.
That-
I call that class.
I couldn't have had a better time.
Yeah.
Well, I got one more comment question. One of our viewers is asking. Mike Lovett asked if you remember Lorimers from Oak Park.
Who from Oak Park?
Lorimers, Lorimers.
That was a room. That was a pool room, I think.
I'm not sure. I think it might be.
In Oak Park?
Yeah.
The only one that I can think of in Oak Park, there was a place called Red Shoes.
Red Shoes. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll see if he knows what you're talking. It was something he was asking. So, well,
My honey was Chris's. My upstairs room. You ever been in Chris's?
Where was that?
You got 44. It was on Milwaukee, and it was it had 42 tables upstairs room.
Wow.
And I think I won 20 tournaments up there.
Wow.
They got tired of seeing me come. They got tired of seeing me coming up the steps.
I bet.
Chris told me one day, the owner, big heavyset guy, said, "But Jesus, You're starting to embarrass me. He says, we're gonna have to change the name of this tournament to the Dallas West Open.
Well, with that many
I
tables,
said,
I'm sure they could host an open.
Right.
oh, yeah, he had some awful good players coming in there. They come in from all over the country into there.
Oh, I can imagine. Gee, many Christmas.
Yeah,
Walking into that
that's a
size
big
of a
room.
pool room.
So, one last question I got because I don't want to keep you too long. Out of all the titles and the opens that you played a couple years on the Moscone Cup teams. What has been by far your most absolute memorable or favorite pool moment?
Oh shucks,
That's a good one.
I have so many of them, But winning the Open for sure. I won the Open twice, but I could have actually won it 6 or 8 times because I was in the top 10. I was 3, I was 4, I was 7th, I was 5th, knocking all the time, And
Always
just some stupid rule.
One shot
But
out.
I think the highlight was probably when I beat Mizrak in. And I played them all. Lassiter and Crane and all of them. But when I beat Miz was at the top of his game too, and I played him in Detroit. And he had beat me. The promoter of that U.S. Open brought him in on the Motor City Open. I won that about 3 times. And he brought him in, and this is kind of a long answer, but I think you'll like it.
All right.
Yeah.
And then
I'm liking it already.
I lost my first match in Detroit in U.S. Open, and I'm walking down the street with Crane, and Crane says, "Well, you lost a tough one there." I said, "Well, Irving," I said, "you can't always." I didn't have any chances. The guy played wonderful. He hit me with an 80 and a 60 or 70 or something. I said, "How are you going to beat that if you don't get a chance to play?" So he says, "You got the right attitude." Well, I turned right around and I won 9 in a row to win that tournament.
Wow.
And in the finals, we played a 200-point game finals. But after getting knocked out that first one, now you got to play more games, come out of that loser's bracket.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So Miz lost one down, after he won a few more, and then he lost, and he got over there. Then I met him in the finals of the loser's bracket. Well, Varner won the winner's bracket on the other side. So I'm playing Steve, and he's running around telling everybody he's going to take his wife to Italy. And I said, "Oh, he is he?"
Cart before the horse syndrome.
Yeah. So all he had to do is beat me once. No, he didn't. No, he had to beat me twice. But I beat him twice. And I made shots like Greenleaf would have made. I had a full rack, a ball near the rack, cue ball on the end rail, call a billiard, and make a ball and run a 70 or 80. I've done that to him in 2 games. He took, when he got done, you could have fried an egg on him. He took the cue. He took the cue. He took it apart. He put it in his case, and he threw it under the table and kicked it. That was my highlight.
Oh, I bet. Yeah. Oh, wow.
And we were buddies. We were buddies.
And
I
that's
said, "Yeah,
got to
you
make it a
ain't-"
little worse, though, doesn't it? I mean, to lose to a good friend. I mean, it's got to be a little a different scenario to win or lose against somebody you really don't know, but to play a hard game and come out and whoop on them or get whooped on by a friend. There's got to be a bit of a difference there. You got to it's got to hit a little more.
Well, yeah, it is, but you got to know the whole. See, Steve was 4 years younger than me, and he came to Rockford when he was 17 and I was 21, and he was going down there to Davenport to St. Andrews, was it college?
Mm-hmm. St. Ambrose.
St. Ambrose. He was going to college down there, so he used to play in Sterling all the time. But anyway, he was at Rockford. We were playing in the Midwest Open, and he says to. No, that wasn't Midwest Open. It was an exhibition. Was a couple other players. Well, anyway, he says to Bernie Canariato, who stayed with him, he says, "Is there anybody in Rockford that can play with me?" He says, and I'm sitting 3 seats down, and Bernie says, "Don't say anything, Steve." And I just looked out and I says, "What do you like to play?" I says, "I'll play a little bit." And he says, "I like to play straight pool." I said, "What do you like to play for?" He says, 100. I said, "Well, I'll play you some for 100 upstairs." And then he got real quiet and he's whispering in Bernie's ear. He says, "Who the hell is this guy?"
Well, when somebody answers the call, it normally tightens them up a little.
Excuse my French, but that's the way he said it. So he says, well, Steve, he says, "You play awful good, buddy." He says, you're my roommate, you're my pal." He says, "But you're not ready for him yet."
Oh,
Ooh. Wow.
He said, "I watch him run hundreds every day, Steve. I don't watch you run hundreds every day."
I was gonna say, yeah, you were. I remember watching that, and we were talking about that. I remember watching that video of you that they came in and did of you shooting the 100 and then sitting down and analyzing it. And they talked about how you, because if I remember correctly, you did that video. You shot the 100 run, sat down with the guy, and you went over it and talked about the shots and everything like that. And then at some course during the day, you ended up saying, "Yeah, I don't know if I really like that one," and because you did it all in one shoot, the 100 that you did that they filmed, but then you also ran 10 or 11 other hundreds while the guy was there, just because you didn't like the way it went or something like that.
Yeah, God's been good to me because I had a wonderful life playing pool, and I got a million stories, and I had even the ladies wanted me to write books. I said, "You got to be kidding!" Yeah, I said, I wouldn't write a book." I said, "These guys, I know a lot of guys that wrote books and they ain't making no money." I said, "And you got to spend a lot of time and do it right." And they don't make much money on that stuff.
No.
Yeah,
but yours would be a good read.
that would be a good one.
Well, I said that's what the ladies were saying. You know what though? I said, you would like to listen to that stuff? I said, we were like cowboys in those days. I said, I said, we all had nicknames. Man, we fired from the hip. I said, we'd bet the moon. You want to listen to that stuff, and then their eyes would get real big, and they said, "Yeah, that's the kind of stuff we love."
Oh, yeah. Honestly, I
got a million stories.
Right?
Yeah.
I think that's kind of. I think that's what the pool world needs right now.
Yeah.
I'm not. It's still kicking. The game's still getting played. People are still doing it, but
they need a shot in the arm.
We do. We need, you guys.
Yeah.
In your day, and you guys, you guys were the epitome of what pool was, and I think that's why it doesn't get looked at quite the same as it does now, because you got a lot of guys now that play. And they're one end of the spectrum or not. A guy walking into the pool hall wearing shorts that barely fit him, or just looking a mess and going in there and food dribbling all over him, and then
characters, man. We had the characters,
right? And but yeah, in your guys' day, you guys, it was almost like the old the Wild West. There were showdowns, and these guys would walk into a pool hall together. And
we had Emerald Slim, we had Cornbread Red, we had I used to call him No Bread because he stiffed me one time.
Oh boy! If you're out here watching, don't forget he remembers that.
Yeah, they had the San Jose Dick, and oh my God, they had so many different players that you didn't even know them. You only knew them by their stroke.
Right. See, that's amazing.
They used to call me I'd be home at 12 o'clock at night. They'd ask me to come down to the dang pool. As they opened the one, they were getting hustled. He says, and I'd go down there and they wanted to know if this guy was hustling them or not. I said, "Well, he's winning the money, eh?"
Yeah.
"Well, yeah, but he's taking it easy." I said, "Well, that's the way he's supposed to do it."
That's how the hustle works.
That's how it works. He's got your money.
Yeah.
So I would go down there and I'd look at him. I say, "Yeah, I could tell you if he's a player or not." One thing a player can't do, you always remember this, guys. A player can't hide it when he needs it.
Yeah. You got to put it out there when it comes down to it.
Right.
Well, you heard of laying down seed money.
Yeah.
All right, a guy walks in with 50, he loses 20 because he wants you to bet more than 5,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So now, and then most cases, most guys will say, no, you got to earn it back the way you lost it, buddy. You know. So then the guy, he's in a awful predicament. So he says, well, I gotta get my money back here. No, I can't. Now I gotta sweat it to get my money back. So he's got to shoot shots to play position on balls. That's the only way he can get on the ball is to shoot the shot.
Hmm.
So he's got to show you something.
Yep.
I said, there's your answer right there. I'd see him get stuck like that and then come back and say, you can't beat that guy. You don't have a chance to beat that guy. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Because they're going to tip their mitt. They're not going to. Pool players still got that pride. They still got that there. Even though they're laying down that seed money, they don't want to feel like a chump. So they're going to have to come with it sometimes.
Yeah, they're going to have to bring it back to get it back.
There you go. They're going to have to bring it. So
yeah. Now, Dallas, real quick. I know Greg said it was the last question but I got one. And out of all the matches and whether it be tournament or action or anything you had going on, for most of us pool players out here, I'm like we have challenge matches here at the Pigeon Coop, and we do them all the time from all different levels. I mean, whether a guy gets a spot to make it an even match or not. But
right.
For most of us, it's always about the recognition of beating somebody.
Mm-hmm.
If you had to say it was more about the titles that you had, or beating somebody, or the cash that you won, which side would you be on?
Well, I like to think of it like this here. I'm not like a football player or a basketball player or a golfer. Now, let me give you a little tidbit on that. They are bred. I was not bred. I loved it. You see the difference?
Yeah.
They were bred. Their moms wanted their boys to put everything in they could into it to be good at what they're doing, whether you're a hoop player or throwing the ball or whatever, you know. And pool players, very few pool players that I can know now, like Moscone was bred, but because when he was a little kid, he was taught by Ralph Greenleaf from Monmouth, Illinois.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm people that love our game the way we do, you know. You're just not bred. You just play it and play it and play it because you love to play it. And I mean, so that's why I think so much of the game. And I think I know the pain that the players have to do. I know the pain, you know. And the other one, and I hate the other sports because you talk about luck. That's why I want to get some luck in pool. I think the thing that's hurting pool is you're taking all the luck out of it. That ruins the game. How you got thousands of people in the stands. A guy throws a football, it bounces off of 3 people, and accidentally lands in the hand of the guy in the end zone.
That's
right.
Luck.
And and he does backflips and he does everything and acts like a moron, right? And everybody's they're all clapping, they're all going crazy, high five and everything else. You see a guy make a 5-reel billiard on the ball, and they all look at each other and what was that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? But if the guy's playing 9-ball and he's hooked on the 2 and he kicks hard and hits the 2 and knocks the 9 in, the people will roar.
True.
They know it's luck. They'll say luck and everything else, and anybody that can play is going to look at all of them and say, "What are them people doing?" You know, that was just a bunch of garbage there. Well, the people say, "Well, I thought it was pretty cool. I like that."
Well, the people in the stands who paid the money to sit there.
They pay the money. If you wanna have fun in this game and you want to see the people light up, you gotta. Even though you know. It wasn't played like that, and you know what I mean. And all the players knew it, but the people love it. You got to give them something to get excited about. Yeah. It's just way too deadpan of a game right now.
Yeah, if you get the people
too
back
analytical
about
everything.
You get the people back involved in it, and then they're going to get excited about it, and it's going to breathe a whole new life back into billiards.
And I asked you
earlier. If you want to take, go ahead.
I asked you earlier about if you were keeping up on it. So have you seen some of the younger guys that are coming in, like like the Skies and and stuff like that. You think any of those guys might have a chance to bring some of it back to the game? Sky's kind of got that. Sky Woodward's got that. He's got that old school attitude about pool, and he seems to be a lot. He seems to be a lot like you in the way that he loves the game, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of passion in him. Is there anybody that you've noticed that's in the game now that you think might have a chance of being able to spark those?
Breathing some fresh life into
spark the life back into the game.
Well, I see younger players starting to get more interested in it, and that's what we need. We need a lot of young players to start playing the game, but they got to learn. They just got to learn to enjoy themselves. Ring games are wonderful, like I say. That kind of participation isn't. You're always going to be able to play your one-on-ones, and you're always and when you're playing your ring games, you got to have people that you play better than they do, but they beat you once in a while with luck.
Right.
Right?
You got because you have.
So now that'll be their life thing. I used to have that happen maybe on purpose once in a while, because then they would get you all kinds of action. I beat Dallas West, blah 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 blah. Oh yeah, they come to me. They beat you? Yeah. He beat me.
Well, there you go. You just got a leg up.
Yep.
That's promotion for you
got,
right there.
I got it all figured out now. Oh, it's been so much fun talking to you, Dallas. I've been looking forward to this, and I got to say thanks to Jim and to Jim Fridley for helping getting this set up and everything like that. I know you guys used to shoot quite a bit. Jim was telling me a lot of stuff about how you guys spent a lot of time. He spent a lot of time learning a lot from you, and
I like Jimmy, because Jimmy worked hard. I always watched him when he played. He would work hard. He was always trying to win. There was no monkey business. He was always playing.
He's always out for the win. The big W.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Yeah, that's definitely.
So I hope
Jim.
I didn't brag too much on you guys, but I thought you might want to hear some good stories.
No,
hey,
I love
those
it.
Those are great.
And
okay.
And if we can do it again, that'd be awesome. Like I said, you got me all excited. I want to drag you down here to the pigeon coop and see if you can whoop on some of these guys. It'd be kind of fun to watch that.
Well, tell them just to put a pool of money laying out there, and I might take the road trip.
He'd probably smell it from there.
Right, I got you.
No, I'm not that bad. I'm having a little fun. I knew Minnesota Fats. I knew pretty well.
Did you?
Yeah, he was a character.
Oh, I bet you that was. I say I can only imagine how much fun it had to have been shooting. Some of the guys that you got to shoot. And
all the people that he got to play against, to meet, to socialize with. Just it would be amazing.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Well, again, I think.
Well, gentlemen, I'm glad we talked.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I hope
pleasure.
I hope you guys ain't too hard on each other now when you flip the coins.
Oh.
So.
Nah. We always try to get the one up on the other. You know that.
Yeah, that's what they're all about. Yeah. Well, again, appreciate it very much, Dallas. We talked to Dallas West. Thank you so much. Have a great night. Tell Shirley thanks for letting us keep you so long.
Absolutely.
You have a great weekend, and feel free to hit us up anytime you want to tell a story. We're more than happy to listen, and it's been awesome.
Okay. Well, I enjoyed talking with you guys.
Thank you very much,
very,
Dallas.
very
we
good
appreciate
night.
it.
Thanks. Have a great night, Dallas.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye. Well, that was awesome.
There's not many times you get to talk to somebody of that caliber.
That was Jim. I do have to again thank you so much for helping us get that set up. That was awesome. That I knew he. I mean, like I said, I when I say I met him, I kind of bumped into him one night when I was shooting over at State Madison. I used to wander through there in my hazy days, and I remember, but you could just in the brief moment I saw him, you knew the guy just loved the game.
Yeah,
and that right there, that's exactly. I mean, he summed up everything about what this game needs now is that passion. I mean, listen, do you hear the guy? I mean, the passion in him is you
can't deny any of the stories. I mean, the way he portrays it, the way he puts it out there, puts
it
across.
And you could see every story he was telling. You could picture it, and I mean, just talking to him made me want to shoot pool. Now I'm really mad I forgot to bring my pool sticks.
Well, that's all right. There's plenty of pigeon sticks around.
Yeah, that was absolutely awesome. Hopefully, I got to everybody's comments and questions. If I didn't, I'm really sorry. But he was that man. That guy is. To think about how that guy's probably seen. He's probably seen more balls roll on a table than we'll ever have the chance to in our lives.
He's mentioned some of the most famous people in the pool business.
Right.
You know, he was good friends with Minnesota.
You're right.
I mean, how many people can say that? Hey, I was good friends with Minnesota Fats. We played all the time.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know,
Yeah, no big deal. Yeah, sure, whatever. It's cool.
yeah, yeah, wow, that was amazing. He just if you haven't seen him, go hit up YouTube or Google Dallas West and watch that 100 ball run video that he did. That it was amazing to watch it. It was like nothing. I mean, the guy just the way he did it. And like I said, I forget if it was in the end of the video or not, because obviously I spent the last week or so really catching up on stuff, just kind of refresh myself. And I watched a bunch of different videos. I watched him play the match, the Mosconi match with him and Storm.
Oh yeah,
And you know, watching him shoot it was crazy, because watching him, he made it look so easy. It was like it was, you know what I mean? It was like. You
well,
don't even,
just think you got a conversation with him, and look at this fella.
yeah,
He
Yeah.
puts down in the comments. He's been
yeah.
hearing it for you know, he's heard it for so many hours.
Well, yeah, well, like I said, Jim spent many a days with him.
Yeah.
They used to shoot together quite often, and again, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you helping get that set up, Jim. That was awesome, and I hope a lot of people listen to this. I hope a lot of people tell people about it so they can go and listen to some of the things he said, because he reinforced a lot of things that people hear nowadays about your game that they kind of dismiss, because it seems like a lot of newer players, you know, or players that have been playing for a while that think they're all that. They kind of dismiss advice sometimes.
Yeah,
And they kind of think, oh, blah blah blah. It's all about what I spend and this and that. And I mean, listen to some of the things that he told you. Just go play. You know, go play. Go get your butt kicked. You know, I mean,
it's not about all the money you put out on cues.
No.
A perfect example: Wainwright took a $49 Q-Tech and went out and won the seniors in Vegas. It's not about the money. It's about being comfortable with what you're playing.
It's about playing, you know. Yeah. So and like you said, that was an amazing. I don't even know how to follow it up with anything. Honestly,
I don't know if you can top that.
I don't think we can. Sorry, I'm checking messages, make sure I didn't miss anything. I think I might have here.
Oh, I'm sure you've probably missed a bunch of people trying to get questions.
I
in,
was
but-
too well.
yeah.
I didn't miss too many questions, so most of the people were watching in the comments. Well, Fridley, I'm going to
Uh-oh,
leave
he's still
Fridley's a talent lining up fool, so I'm going to leave you on that. You get that one for us too, Frid, and you'll be royalty. So, it definitely recommend this episode to friends. Come back and tell them to go check this out. Just amazing talk with Dallas West. Hollywood had to kind of jump out for a minute. He hasn't been feeling the greatest, but he got his questions in. I know that he was looking forward to talking to Dallas, and I'm glad he got to. And thanks for jumping in.
I wish you would have been able to stick around. I know we had some more
Yeah.
stuff. You know, as Dallas was talking, you could see Larry. He'd start to say something, and then we
Yeah.
gotta listen. We gotta
Yeah,
hang on,
yeah.
quiet.
Got it. Yeah.
I'm sitting on the stool over there, just motioning behind him. Hey, calm down, quiet it down.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Oh yeah, like I said, I knew it was going to be awesome. I knew it was going to be. I knew that he was going to share some great stories and great insights on the game. So, next week a lot of stuff I'm hoping that we get to touch on, because obviously next week in Illinois, moving into Phase 4, chances are Pool's not going to make a big giant comeback in Phase 4 in Illinois.
No.
They're going to be. I mean, I'm not saying you're not going to be able to go to the bar and shoot. You might. It's just I think a lot of the people thought that Phase 4 was going to bring leagues back right away.
Well, phase 4 is going to turn the gaming machines back on.
Right.
So that's going to, if they're letting gaming go, they're going to let the amusement machines go. So that means Pool's going to open up.
Right. Yeah. But with the capacity things, I want to make
50%.
sure that people understand that they're going to be. They're not going to just say, okay, bring the leagues in. I mean, I know they want to, but I think that it's going to take some time.
The bar owners want to. You know,
Right,
they want to get the
so-
people back in there. Pool players, hey,
Yeah.
you know, we're known for drinkers. We're known for gamblers.
Right, so
They love us.
We have to make sure we make it worth their while. So if you're support all this week, and make sure you've been supporting them. Go and take advantage of the outdoor seating that they're the
I
ones
think-
that they
I
can
think they're
offer.
trying to hit us.
I think so too.
That's about the third time so far.
Yeah, I don't know.
This is why this is the pigeon coop.
Right, that is exactly why. Well, thank you, Wesley. Thank you, Jim. And again, Jim, thank you very much for that. You literally made this show this week. So, if you got some information about your leagues coming up for next week or anything like that,
Or
make sure you-
tournaments.
like I said, we are going to talk about last week's, and we'll touch on that again. We'll kind of catch up on both of them. Don't forget Legends is tomorrow.
Yeah.
Doors open at 10. Auction starts at noon.
And that's 10 ball, right?
10 ball. It is
10
10 ball. No 3 foul. It's
No Texas Express.
Yeah.
Oh, it is Texas, but no 3 foul.
but it's the first 64, and those things fill up quick.
Oh,
I mean,
I know.
he just brought it up just a few days ago, and I think he had half a list already. So
Yeah. You can
If
sit
you-
there for a little while before you get your match in. But
right, if
they'll
you
get 'em
want to
going.
play, make sure you hit Biggie up, or make sure you get there when the doors open.
Yeah, for sure.
So we're gonna get out of here. It's a lot of cool things going on all over the place. For my 619ers, and most of you might not know what I'm talking about. Some of you might. Happy 619. Jim's got a list. Jim is now our official booking agent for the show. That's what I'm going to go ahead and.
Johnny Cachero would be a hoot.
He would.
I could let loose some stories from Johnny
Yeah.
Cachero. I'll tell you
So,
that.
But we're going to get out of here. I'm Bud. This has been Buckshot. He stepped in, helped us out, and maybe we'll see him a little more. We just got to teach him how to talk a little bit. I think he's afraid of hearing himself or something.
No,
but-
I just listen to other people, and then
Yeah.
I'll chime in when I hear
We'll
something special.
figure it out. So, thank you very much for watching. Definitely, like I said, recommend the show to go back and watch it on. You can find it on YouTube and then Facebook, and sit down and listen to Dallas. Listen to some of the things he said. He told us, shared some great stories.
Great information.
And great information. The guy, I mean, and as you're listening to him, you got to think of all the things he's seen, places he's been. The guy's been, he is everything that people
Want to be
people that
play pool. They
when
wanna
people
get to
think
that.
about what pool was and what it should be or what they think it's supposed to be, that's Dallas West.
You think about the old movie Hustlers. Well, there's somebody who has lived through that era, through that pool, that dynamic of pool.
Right. Yeah. He was a building block. I mean, so thank you very much. This has been TNT Off the Rail. Again, I'm Bud. That's been Hollywood.
It's been Buckshot, but
But
Hollywood was
he
here.
turned into Buckshot. Hollywood turned into Buckshot. We'll get it right.
Lot bigger
Today's been one of them
performance.
days. That's just how it's worked. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget, you can get a hold of us, 833-868-7665. Hit us up on Facebook. There's a tons of way to get a hold of us. You want to share any kind of information on the show each week. Venue owners, league operators, tournament directors, anything like that. Players, you want to share a story. You want
Get
to
a grudge match.
Yeah, you want to do a grudge match. You want to show us a shot you did. Want to pass along a little lesson. Man, we're all about pool. We're all about telling people about pool. So hit us up. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the weather and check local listings. Try to stay dry.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys the next week.